me to change, they want me to change, but I ain't changing. Nah, I remain the same.
And you are now tuned into another episode of Intellectually Petty Radio, brought to you by M3S3 Clothing. Men make moves and suckers stand still. And as always, on the mighty Nerd DJs Radio Network. Y'all already know, man. This is Jobs. I am your host. And you already know we only rock with legends around here. And today is absolutely no exception. We have the phenomenal, incomparable, stupendous, wonderful woman of many talents, Miss Natasha Lee, joining the conversation. How are you doing, Queen?
Hello, how are you? Thank you for that nice introduction.
Well, I try, how's your family?
My family is amazing. Pretty cool right now, so no complaints there.
That's what's up. And first and foremost, I want to thank you for coming on the show and try to make sure I can pull up all my little information
That you did gathered about me.
that I have
Well,
gathered
then
about
good.
you.
Let me fix my hair since we on the I in the YouTube streets. My
Oh
nephew
my!
told me I was giving him civil rights, civil activists with my hair like this. I said, don't do me, call me Rosa Parks then,
Oh my
Don't
God!
laugh like that. Don't do that.
Yo, shout out to your nephew though, because that's hilarious. I disagree. You look wonderful. However, you gotta admit that was kind of funny. Okay, where does your career journey start? Hello. I think Natasha has frozen up on us.
Yeah, what about now?
Well, it's kind of slowly coming back. I can hear you. Not, there we go.
Okay. I'm not sure. What can you see me?
I can see you. I can hear you. We all good to
Oh,
go.
okay, perfect.
So, where did your career journey start for us?
Career journey.
Mm-hmm.
um, I mean, I think I was a person who knew what I think I started my journey in my career at the age of 8, if I gotta be 1,000,000% honest. Um, just knowing that I wanted to be an entrepreneur
Mm-hmm.
by that age. It was actually one of the days in the 90s, early 90s, my mother was walking me to school, or it could have been the late 80s, who knows? But I want to say early 90s. My mother was walking me to school, about 8 years old. So I'm going to say late 80s or whatever. And I was wondering why, I had to walk because our father had usually taken us to school and it was a snow. And so she explained to me that he was working overtime. And while walking to school, she told me, I asked her, well, how old do you have to be to retire? Like, this overtime thing, So she explained the workforce to me at that particular time. And my father worked a lot, like many, many, many hours at Ford. And she told me that if I didn't want that lifestyle, then I have to choose a career. I have to go to school and choose a career that would allow me freedom or wealth. And so she said, well, how old do you want to be when you retire? Because she had told me 60 years old was retirement. And I'm like, girl, I ain't working to that long, thinking that 60 is so far off. Now it's around the corner, right? And so she gave me a couple of options. She said, you could be a doctor, you could be a lawyer, or you could be the boss. You could be an entrepreneur, and they get to do whatever they want. And after she told me that, that was sure enough what resonated with me and what stuck with me throughout life. So all my life, I've known that I was going to be an entrepreneur.
So, what was your first business?
My first business is what I have now. It's 18 years old. Um, so it's Make Your Dreams Come True, which is a BPO firm, business processing outsourcing firm. So it includes um, call center services, project management, website design, logo design, graphics in general, marketing, PR. Anything that is needed to make a business dream a reality, we are able to provide those services globally.
And you're the first sister with a call center in Michigan, correct?
Yeah, well, so yes, I actually in the world, I am the first of three um, African American women and people, period, who received a subcontracting contract of its kind from a company called Arise. And so we were the very first blueprint of it all. And it wasn't just Michigan, it was throughout the world.
Oh, snaps. I had to catch myself.
Good call. Good call. Yeah, so it was really amazing. And what it did is allowed me to service clients processing inbound and outbound calls, tech support, email response, live chat for companies globally, some of your favorite brands throughout the world. And so before even COVID 19 became a part of the world and virtual work, we were already doing it in 2006, like all the way up until now.
Oh
So our
wow.
agents work virtually from home. And then not only from that, that um, charged me to want to get other contracts and work with other entities and, acquire them. And so I did that. And some of the cool ones we worked with was American Idol. We were actually the call center where you would call in to do your vote.
Are
So
you
that was pretty
serious?
cool. Yes, yes. Another first contract we had was Virgin Mobile, and that was my very, very, very first one. And Virgin Mobile um, was really where I seen like, wow, this is crazy. I can't believe that, I'm doing this from home. And then it was infomercials, all of the infomercials that you see on television, like HSN infomercials, Shopping Network, all of those different companies were outsourcing their work virtually to virtual call centers such as mine. And we were I remember many days when I first started, and I'm not encouraging any of this, I probably shouldn't say this out loud, but I'm gonna say it anyway. But I remember a couple of times where the call volume would be slow when I first started out. And again, this is nearly 18 years ago. I would wake up out of my sleep and answer the call, like, thank you for calling, whatever it was. And so literally there were, but then, obviously they had to start putting the protocols in place as to what you could and couldn't do working. And then the other adjustments was working from home and starting out with the virtual call center was, well, I started honestly with one employee, my next door neighbor, and then I convinced my sister-in-law before I started to become my supervisor um, for my company. And at the time, her and my brother were regional managers for Blockbuster. And so she hated her job. And I was working at the time for Ford and Chrysler through Budco, selling extended service plans on the phone. And so our requirement, we used to have a, commission. I created this really amazing sales system. And so they were paying me at the time, I was 21. They were paying me like about $8,000 a month. And I was killing it. They brought in
What?
Harrison. They brought in Harley Davidson to team to sit with me to close the deal from a system that I had created in terms of like sales, closing the sale out for this extended service plan. And so I became really just the top salesperson, one of the top salesperson on a very small team. It was like eight of us. And so anyway, after they left, they were so excited about, oh, oh my God, that went well. They want to close the deal, blah, blah, blah. But keep in mind, I ain't really thinking about a business aspect of it. I'm still an employee type of thing. And so anyway, he pulled me to the cubicle and he said, Natasha, do you know how much money you made us in the last 6 months? And I'm thinking to myself, why would I be counting your money? Like, why would I be counting your money? Like, no. But I should have been. Right now, I know to count the money.
Man.
And so anyway, he said, "Well, in the last 6 months, you made us $1 million." And I remember walking away from that cubicle, calling my mom. She passed away, but calling my mom and saying, "Mom, I'm about to quit this job." And the job was amazing. Like I said, benefits, nice pay, blah 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 blah. So I was, like I said, averaging $6,000 to $8,000 a month at the time, full benefits, whatever. And so she says, I said, "Ma, you gotta listen. I just made them $1 million in 6 months." And my mother held the phone for a minute, and she was like, "F it, quit." So when my mother said that, I knew 1,000,000% that I was going to be covered in this journey. I knew that if anything happened, my kids would be good. I would be good. Like, this is going to be there. And she was going to be there. And that just gave me ever more of a confidence to go ahead and say, "Yup, I'm quitting this job." So what I did was,
I'm sorry, but I'm curious. The guy that told you that pulled you to the side and said you made us $1 million in 6 months. When you quit, what was his thoughts?
um, I don't know. I never even looked back. But he was really cool though. He was a really dope supervisor. He really had already, so basically they had already known that at some point that I was leaving. So they tried to
Yeah.
get me to stay by offering me a flexible schedule, pretty much of me scheduling myself whenever I wanted to come in, as long as I met certain amount of hours. They tried to give me a perk. They tried to give me a raise, all sorts of things. And so that failed, and I just, pretty much left. But they did try to retain me with
Okay.
different perks and things like that for sure.
Yeah, I just needed to know if they understood. I mean, they understood, but him telling you that was
Pivotal. Hmm.
it was pivotal for you, but a blunder on his part.
It was, but I'm so happy he didn't see. His excitement about the contract that was closed is really what inspired him, probably, motivated him to tell me
Yeah.
about the numbers, to motivate me to keep doing it. But I knew that the way that I was selling the extended service plans were custom to me because I created it, and I created it um during maternity leave for my baby girl. And I thought, you know what, um I'm gonna, create a dynamic sales system to help me sell more with less time while I was on maternity leave, to keep the money going. And they had already given me the free will to follow up with my leads and things like that at home while I was on maternity leave. So when I came back into the office, I just used those same practices that I was using, and it was, just working really well.
Okay, so you quit. You start your own thing.
Yep. I start with one employee, my next door neighbor, leaving the door open for her. My sister-in-law, who is the tentative supervisor, and she worked with me many, many years until I, given her the opportunity to do it on her own as well. And it started with that one. Then my brother, he allowed for me to have the call center in his basement, and we had like three rotation shifts coming out of his basement at some point, until one day he got off work and it was somebody in the kitchen making something to eat. He was like, so he came in and he's like, "Tasha, who is this in my kitchen?" And I'm like, "Dave, that is the employee." He's talking about, "This is not a building." This is not. He like, you better get a building, Tasha. Like, for real. Like, this is ridiculous. These people can't be coming in and out of my house, up and down my steps, and blah, 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 blah. So he was actually the light bulb that made me understand that I was no longer with one employee anymore. I could get this building. And so one of my best friends and I, actually a coworker from the same place who sat right next to me. She's one of my best, 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 best friends right now. And she quit shortly after me, and we went in business together. But anyway, that's a different story. But that building we got together, the first building we got together, and I turned it into a call center. And then we had outgrown that. And then I ended up just making everyone virtual, because I ain't got time for shoveling the snow and liability, this and that during the winter months. I'm like, no, I can't do it. And so I went with the protocol of being virtual, and I ended up having 1,500 contractors servicing for me at once globally.
Yo, so you went from like 3 to 15. How long did that take from 3 to 1,500?
Definitely about a year. About a
That's
year.
it?
It went. Yeah, it was really fast because you got to think we were the only businesses of our kind. So it was really easy to do. And quite honestly, I could have done way more than that. But you got to imagine I'm a 23-year-old. This is my first business. It's going crazy, out of this world. I am trying to learn proper business etiquette, even though I have been in the corporate world, but it was always from an employee setting, right?
Exactly.
And so now I had to be this entrepreneur and making these decisions for all of these people and implementing this and that and that and that, and then people started finding about who I was, and I was just and pay all of the papers, Good Morning America, just everybody was just so intrigued.
So let
And
me
it's
ask you
just
this.
because
Let me ask you this.
okay,
Biggest mistake early on.
biggest mistake early on is hiring family and friends.
Yeah, that's no comment.
Biggest mistake early on is hiring family and friends and believing that um and just believing that just because you have a business that these people would support you. And I want to be clear, I had massive support, but as I look back, if I can look back 18 years ago and I can think about the humps that I went through initially, it was definitely hiring family and friends and working with those who were inexperienced in that culture and did not respect me as the boss, right? I think especially when you have people in your family who's able to see the payroll, the account receivables and ins and outs, right? So now
Not in your pockets.
exactly. And not only that, not even just necessarily being in your pockets, it's like this sense of entitlement that is now felt through the contract. So I had early on a lot of individuals trying to take the contracts from me or do it themselves. And it was very disheartening. I think that was a lot of agony in the beginning for sure. Until they realized that, this was really what I was supposed to be doing because everybody who tried it, I definitely didn't fight them about it. They did it. They didn't survive in it. I'm the only one to date that's still in the business whatsoever. But I also literally transformed many, many, many people lives through that opportunity. And to this day, some of the people are still in the industry and serving from the capacity that in trades in which I was able to show them while working with me.
Best piece of advice you got early on.
Best piece of advice that I got early on is to be me. Like literally, like um because I was young and again it was my first time being an entrepreneur, I'm kind of looking at other entrepreneurs trying to be them, to a degree, like picking up different things that they're doing and oh, they did this way, they're brilliant. Let me do it this way too. And sometimes it didn't resonate with the person I was. I just thought I was doing it because they were these massive
Yeah.
business owners and so on and so forth. And that strategy worked for them. So I realized that I had to do the exact same thing that prompted me to start my company anyway, which was to use my own strategy, and that's what I started to do. And then another thing is do not become overly offended easily in business. Like I had one of my favorite clients, and he was based out in the UK, a celebrity psychologist, and we were doing like medical notes, billing, all types of things for him, email response, whatever. Well, anyway, of course, I'm that girl. I'm from Detroit and from the East Side, might I add.
Oh,
Um,
I'm sorry about that too. I'm from the West
don't be
Side, so
sorry, be happy.
I got to mess
Don't
with
be sorry,
you.
be happy. Okay. Don't be sorry, be happy. All right. So and I and I wear it on my chest, the East Side. Okay. No, so obviously, the ebonics would come out. Keep in mind, I'm 23. I'm not as polished. I'm literally just saying whatever is on my mind. Not really having that etiquette, but able to execute the task like with excellence. But the persona wasn't lining up necessarily for
I
that
got you.
culture in the UK. So anyway, he offered to pay me. I mean, he offered to send me back to school because he didn't like the way that I was speaking. And I realized that I wasn't speaking that way because I never felt like I needed to. But I'm like, okay, like, do I become offended by this or do I take the opportunity? You know? And so I think that it is so important for us not to become overly offended by gestures that other people are making to help you improve. Just because you are this person in business does not mean that you cannot do things better. So the best advice that I've received is to accept constructive criticism, as well as to use my own strategies just to be myself.
Now a little bit of that offends me, and I'm gonna tell you why.
Hmm.
When you get a call from a call center today, it's some guy named John that clearly has an accent, and you completely know that this person's name is not actually John.
Hmm.
But nobody tells them you need to go work on your accent. But
Yeah, so that's
they tell black folks you need to unblack folks yourself.
mm, yes. Okay, so that's very, very powerful. I love that you brought that point out. But I do want to tell you though, because I work with outsourcing to the Manilas, to the Philippines, to India, all of that, and I have some people who I've worked with in those countries for many years, and onboarding for call center when I needed more capacity because their hourly rate is much cheaper than the US. I began to start using them to grow my agency and my BPO firm. And so they are trained actually. They have to go through extensive training over and over and over again for their accent. And then us as US call centers, when they're outsourcing and we're choosing which call center we're going to work with out of town, they have to send us videos and and audios. They have to send us an audio and we have to select through the audios which people we want to work with, which people accent is too thick, nope, don't send them. If they not understanding, our customers or our ebonics or the lingo of those in the country, like, nope, we don't want to work with them. So it is a process that they have to go to. And then I think after that, they try to pick all of the greatest people that fit it. But if we still need more people, that's how the other ones come online because we don't have any choice but to use them based off of the workload of the client. So yes, I agree with that. No one is telling them, hey, you can't be this way. But that, for it to be a black woman or whomever, it might come across like, hey, that's too urban, or
Yeah,
don't say
yeah.
that, or whatever the case may be. But then I understand it as well. I think it's a time and place for everything. And I think that higher levels require you to act differently. And I appreciate when someone is pulling my coattail and telling me, "Hey, adjust that so you can get in the dough." Because guess what? At the end of the day, I could go back and talk Ebonics or however way I want after I make this bag, so it don't even matter.
So so how do you go from there to American Idol?
Um, just another like the contracts were abundant, so it wasn't, again, because the industry is not, let's say, like the industry isn't made popular at this time. Okay. So every any type of contract is coming to me. You know what I'm saying? Literally, from LifeLock was one of the very first ones. I was the first one to work with LifeLock on a telemarketing end. Our call center did. Like, I can tell you, so Apple Computers was one of our very first subcontracted clients to us, and they had to ship us and everybody who worked with me Mac Mini computers. So that was a perk, but we had to learn it inside and
Yo.
out, and we had to know every policy from the beginning to the end. And it was just amazing. So KFC, Xfinity, I mean, just so many companies that we ended up working with, and not just them, but other corporations that that are small or medium sized companies that didn't have maybe the big name but got the big business. And so we were working with them to deliver different services. And so it became literally anytime someone wanted to outsource any facet of their company, that they would then now be reaching out to make your dreams come true, trying to outsource it to us. And if it was a good fit, and if we had the workload, if we could take on the workload, then we would take it. But again, it was just a very amazing time in history where we were just abundant with all sorts of contracts, and from Disney World. I mean, I can just go on. I work with literally pretty much
That's crazy.
all of them.
What's the relationship with the Detroit Tigers?
Oh, so the Detroit Tigers, it's a new relationship. This is my second year. The first year, my workload was too busy. I couldn't get to them. But this year, it's about community engagement and connecting the Detroit Tigers um, with the community, and creating events at the Tigers game that would draw all of the community out for whatever reason. Like we just had a Martinez Way Foundation, who her son, who the foundation is in memory of, they celebrated every year at the Tigers game. And so this year it was an elevated experience with them that we were able to create for them. I also August the 25th, 20 let me see. August the 23rd. I got so much stuff going on. Okay, August the 23rd. I'm gonna be at the Detroit Tigers with Moms in Business. And so the moms in business are gonna bring their families out on that day, and we're gonna have a roundtable talk with Let's Talk Roundtable and Moms in Business International. On that same day, I'm flying in a young man. His name is Josiah from California. I arranged for him to meet his favorite player with the Detroit Tigers. So he's going to go to batting practice with them. He's going
Yo,
to walk on the court with his favorite Detroit Tigers player and sing the national anthem with him. Just a wow experience. Um, September the 25th, we're going to be bringing out a high school choir to not only perform um, while the game is about to get ready to start, but also do the national anthem as well. So all of the events are curated differently and is according to the audience. It's according to our client and what type of experience they're trying to create. And for the Tigers, I'm just, they allow me to be able to work with them to create those different opportunities. So I'm very grateful for them.
yo, and while we on that, I must start begging a little bit, because whatever intellectually Petty can do to get involved in that plethora of things you are doing, please let us know. You already know Rita. Shout out to her. The best manager in the history of managers and vocal cords. But yo, I be wondering how people get involved in stuff like this. Like I've been to Tiger Stadium, the current, the Tiger Stadium is so fucking beautiful.
It is really beautiful.
It's so beautiful. It is,
Hmm.
and I've been to the. I'm old enough to remember the old Tiger Stadium. Was that on Michigan? Oh man, like this Tiger Stadium, like when we went, there isn't a bad seat.
Okay.
It
No,
just
it is. It's not. And one of the things that I love is that it's a, you get to have these different experiences. It's not just going to the baseball game anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like there's everything from educational camps to special experiences to them giving out all sorts of gifts like national. I mean, they can have so many things going on, like what do they call them, theme nights. Like you
yeah.
go on a theme night, if get there, you get to get a gift, you get to get their custom merchandise and all sorts of things. So it is
Podcast theme
beautiful.
night. They can just be interviewed. A lot of people. Just throw that out there.
Okay, let's talk about it offline. Let's talk about it.
I'm just saying. It just came to me.
Yes, that would be good. That would be good. You would be the host. Let's talk about it.
Absolutely. Okay,
Yeah.
so
So
I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, and so with the Detroit Pistons, we have the same type of but camaraderie. But this is our fourth year with them, and man, listen, I love the Detroit Pistons partnership. It is outstanding for me. I've been able to transform so many people's lives through it, and have so much fun at the Little Caesars Arena. Like when we come, people know they know who I am when I'm walking through. We have the most amazing time. And so with them, we do the 313 award. So on March 13th, 313 day, we turn all the way up at the Detroit Pistons game. And I honor our 313 heroes. They let me walk individuals on the court. Sometimes it gets completely out of hand, but it is what it is. Yeah, but this year I'm heavy on security though. I didn't realize, how much I, needed it, but this year is I'm heavy on it, okay? So it ain't gonna get out of hand no more. But and then I'm able to showcase again small businesses, nonprofit organizations, youth groups, so on and so forth. And I do all sorts of amazing things. Another thing that I'm able to do is the Quarter Dreams, where they allow me to get the arena for a day before the game. So they give me the basketball court, the hallways, the everything, before the whole day before the game starts. And I have a community basketball tournament with the youth and community
Yo.
leaders and people in the community, and they come and they play on the team. So then after that, the students are exposed to careers and professions and fun. We have like the Detroit Fire Department came out last year, taught the kids how to do um, CPR training. Right, they brought the dummies out, so on and so forth. So shout out to Chief James Harris and his team for being so generous. Then we
He's been on
had
the show before. Throwing that
Yes,
up.
yes.
Yes.
So
It's my
definitely,
guy.
yeah, he's such a cool guy. And so we had him for a couple of years. He come out and he speak on the court. He speak to them. He network with the kids. I be putting them in the crowd. Like y'all not about to just be standing in front of them. Y'all about to be really walking amongst them, talking to them. So it's very intimate. We have Dr. Eddie Connor, who always show up and cut up for us and motivate the kids. We had I forgot, oh, he's gonna kill me, but it is a music production company and a promoting company, and I cannot Lake's great. Anyway, they came out and taught the kids how to do music and all sorts of things. And so we had the kids was learning how to braid, and we brought doctors out. A doctors came out to talk to them about the world of medicine. And I mean, it just is amazing, an experience that, you definitely have to be there to see.
Yeah, I need in on that because that just sounds beautiful. Top five global influencers.
Mhm.
You got that right?
Um, top 500. Top 500 global influencers. I was honored
I mean, it's like
by
8 billion
Brain.
people on the planet or something like that. I'm sorry, 500. Like how do you find out for one?
They reach out. I don't know how, it really surprises me who's paying attention to you or who's watching you. And from the beginning of my journey, I've always received recognition for being one of the fastest growing companies, but I didn't know how to even handle that. So a lot of times I slowed down because he was like, man, this is crazy, right? But for the 500 influencers, the magazine reached out to me, and not only did they make me an editor for the magazine, but they chose to honor me alongside Oprah Winfrey and Jim Quick and all of these amazing people as the top 500 global influencers in the world. And that was really amazing. That was just an outstanding experience for me because I love Oprah and how she's done business, her influence in the world and helping people, things like that. So that was always appealing to me growing up. So that was like a dream come true, or I never knew that my name could even be on the side of hers. And then Jim Quick was over the last, I want to say, 7 years, I've been Really using him kind of like a brain mentor. I really love reading. I love all things like education and music and art. I just love things. So how about that? But he's a great he's just a great author and coach. He's Will Smith's acting coach and so on and so forth. So one of the really cool things is when I posted it out of excitement, he came on my post and he commented. So that was pretty cool.
Okay, first I've never heard of Jim Quick, but
He's
damn,
the brain
Jim,
doctor.
really, and the acting coach. That's wild.
Well, so that's what the brain is. Like he teaches you how to use your brain. So like remembering, like how does Will Smith remember those lines to all of those movies? So he helps him be able to do that. How to speed read, how to learn things quickly, like those sort of things. So when I say, and he was a boy with a broken brain because he had some sort of element that was going on with him with a kid that he couldn't speak. Well, anyway, it led him to discovering how to use his brain more efficiently, and then he began to coach it to other people. But he's a pretty much a big thing for sure, a big
Yo.
deal.
Oh, apparently, so are you.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
You know, and if nobody has told you today, I'm proud of you.
Oh, I appreciate that for sure. It never, you definitely need to hear it. You know, all days are definitely not easy by sure. I mean, by far. You know, so I appreciate that.
Well, I'm big on telling us that because
Hmm.
we a lot oftentimes I think in our community vulnerability is seen as a weakness when and oftentimes it really is a strength. We just haven't
Hmm.
figured out how to use it as a strength, and so complimenting each other is seen as being too vulnerable to other people when it's really not.
Oh my gosh, listen. I have a chapter in my book that's going to release this year that talks about vulnerability actually being a strength and not a weakness. And it's so funny that you brought that up because not too many people have that perception of vulnerability. And another person, when I was looking through the journey to see if I was tripping, like, is vulnerability, a good thing? So I went to do research to see if I was, tripping with my own thoughts, because sometimes we can get a little wild, okay? And I found I found Brene Brown, okay, and she had this whole TED talk about vulnerability. You should check her out. Her name is Brene Brown, and she talks about vulnerability and everything she was saying. I'm like, yes, 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 because I am a vulnerable person. I literally will just tell you how I feel. You
Oh
don't
my
have to
god.
guess. You don't have to nothing. I'm about to flat out tell you. And sometimes it might be amazing. Sometimes it might not. But it's about how you deliver it. It's about showing up to people saying, I don't feel good. It's about showing up to people saying, I lost this, teach me how, I need help. Because sometimes when you reach a certain level in entrepreneurship, people don't see you as human anymore. They only see you as an asset or a thing. So they don't even think that you have feelings. So for me to be vulnerable, I'm vulnerable with everyone because you never know who God is putting into your place to help you, to listen to you. Because the vulnerability is not necessarily about receiving things; it's about receiving a human reaction. You know what
Man,
I'm saying?
yo, and you know the crazy part is, like, I'm old enough to have given people advice 20 years ago and see those people again.
Mm.
And it's advice I forgot I gave that
Hmm.
meant nothing to me at the time. I just felt like I'm doing my part for my people and for those people to come back and be more successful than me and say
Hmm.
you were a catalyst. Yo, that's the dopest. And I'm sorry, I know I have to promise you, but that's the dopest shit ever. It just is.
Yeah.
And I've literally, like, I had a conversation with a nurse practitioner the other day, who when we met, she was a licensed practical nurse, which I am currently. And I
Hmm.
had a conversation. I had some conversations with her that made a huge difference in her trajectory and her life.
Mm.
And when we see each other now, that it just, for me, it's a sense of pride, and for me to be a little part of her development and her believing in herself.
Isn't
Yo,
that amazing though? I think that's what the joy of my company is though. It's because
Yo.
I'm literally making dreams come true. And actually, it went from the corporate world and these corporations, these big guys, to me eventually taking heed to the community, and then taking these mom and pop shops, these solo entrepreneurs, these small businesses that were only accustomed to vending and flea markets, and literally change their world. I've made so many people moguls. I've helped so many businesses transform and level up to something they never even imagined. I can't even post enough of the success results and the people that I'm working in the tribe that I'm working with every day, just to even say what we're doing. But we're doing it every day. And now, even from the small businesses, even the nonprofit sector, we're now, dominating and elevating those as well. Those small nonprofits that don't have the funding but need the support in order to grow, in order to make a stronger impact. So I'm definitely, it just very thankful to God for using me as a vessel for these sort of assignments.
Where you at in 10 years?
Where I'm at in 10 years, that is a beautiful question. So I would imagine living my best life. That's really that's that's really that's
I
really what
mean,
I
you
can
seem to be living
imagine.
your best life now. I'm just
Yes,
gonna put that out there.
but 10 years from now, I will have already had the book out. I will have already had the television show. I will have already made so much impact that I can really just take the time to be a full time evangelizer, where I'm now just dedicating it to helping people know God. Um, I definitely see myself being, I don't even want to say retired, because I never really want to retire. I work with people who are 70 and 80 years old now, and they still living their best life and making an impact. So I just plan on continuing to be a amazing mom to my children, who all are, empty nesting out, my oldest sons, and my daughter is a senior this year. So just whatever that motherhood brings, and then whatever the community impact that I'll continue to make. And I'm definitely see myself as just having a lot more time to myself when I feel like having it. So for me, I just plan on being extremely ever more spiritual, every more healthy, every
Let me
more
ask you a question
wealthy.
on. Let me ask you a
Yeah.
question on the spiritual.
Mm-hmm.
And I've asked this question a few times on the show. So you're sitting on a park bench, and God sits next to you and says, "You can ask me any question you want."
Mm-hmm.
What do you ask?
Wow, that is such a powerful question. So um, I will ask God, how does He heal?
Yo, I've asked this a few times, and that is
Yeah, because we don't realize. I think that He is the most highest being, so we know that the we it's like if we can't even imagine him hurting, which kind of goes back to what I was saying. Once you make it to a certain level here on earth, people don't see you as being a human being or having feelings. Well, the Bible describes plenty of times that that Jehovah has feelings, that he has some sort of emotion. And one of the greatest emotions, and that he's shown when after they murdered Jesus, and how the earthquake shook, and so on and so forth. But to see that, and to see us now on this earth experiencing the amount of pain and turmoil that we're experiencing, he created us to love those things, right? I know that he feels a level of hurt when he sees the wickedness that's taking place on this earth. And so, day by day, as he's looking at us, and even though it says it's a blink of an eye, I do know that there's pain associated with it. And so, I want to know, like, how did he cope? How did he cope with watching his
yo.
child? How did he cope with watching us? Like,
That
what did he
is
was doing for the patients?
crazy. I have never no person ever has remotely even considered how God felt.
Yeah, that's my guy.
I'm just you, but the response, the humility in that response is unparalleled. The,
Oh.
just because myself included, most people, like I've had a couple people say I couldn't ask God a question, I wouldn't feel right.
Mhm.
But most people, like everybody else, the question was somehow related to their existence.
Mm.
And like I say, myself included.
Mhm.
My questions would be, why did you do X, Y, and Z, or how, like along those lines.
Mhm.
But I
You,
never even
I love
considered.
that. Well, this is something I want to leave for you and the audience when it's about building the relationship with between you and God. Is that it's no different from you building a relationship with your mother or your father. And even if you didn't have a mother and a father who, was affectionate towards your needs or provided for you in ways that you needed them to, well, just knowing that God exists for that reason to be whatever he needs to be for us when we need him to be it, right? And so we have to treat God like our friend, like our father, like our best friend, like our mother, like everything. And I'm a person who lost all, I don't have any living parents. And it's been
I know the
crazy.
feeling.
Yeah, it's been a journey living life without them, even as an adult. You like, man, I want my mama, or man, I want my grandma, or man, I remember when my granddaddy did, or
It's
man, I remember
different
when
when
my
you
dad
ain't got
did.
a parachute.
Yep. Amen. Because remember that parachute was the reason why I even became an entrepreneur. It's because
Yeah.
I had a parachute. And so now God is my parachute. Now I'm not even in the midst of it. I remember crying so hard after my mother died. I was literally losing my mind. And I remember the scriptures came to me that God said, test me out and see that I am good. That even if your own mother or father shall leave you and abandon you, and that was from an abandonment state, but even if they're not here, I am with you. And so I started testing God out to see if he was for real. And he was. And so from that point on, not only do I consider myself when I'm doing things, but I consider him too. Like, dang, like how would God feel if I did this? You know what I'm saying? Like, man, like let me not do this. So, and it doesn't mean that I'm just walking around this perfect life, but I can tell you that I'm very conscious of what God feels about me. And in turn, just like any relationship, God would want you to feel something about him, want to know how he doing. Do you ever just wake up and tell him you love him? You know what I'm saying? Instead of saying, God, can I have God? You want to know what? It was really amazing how you created those deers. It was really amazing how you made those mountains in a fog. That was really dope of you to give me blah, 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 blah. Just having gratitude and a real relationship with him. The more real you make God, the more real he'll show up in your life.
Yo, you'll never know how much I needed this conversation.
Wow.
Like, and I've said this a million times. Some shows I do for public consumption. Some shows, like sometimes read a book somebody I don't really know much about, and those shows sometimes end up impacting me in ways that I had no clue.
Wow.
Yeah, I cannot possibly thank you enough for this. I really can't. And
Awesome.
I
Awesome.
just have I have a feeling that we are. This is not the end.
Well, awesome. I'm looking forward to that. And before we go, you definitely got to know about that girl. So we don't just get a plug because I don't know how long the show is, right?
Tell me
But
about that girl.
so that girl is in Homage of My Mother, who was known as that girl, and that was my like my fourth business adventure. But this is after my mother is gone, right? After all my parents are gone, and I've gone now going through a divorce. I am literally feeling like all alone, and I was trying to keep my mom close, so I created a brand called Being That Girl, and she was known as that girl and wore red lips all the time. And so I created it, and it started off as just a t-shirt. Then it went global, okay? It went crazy. And it's that girl is from Detroit. That girl is a doctor. That girl is a lawyer. And then I had to throw the guys in there. So I got that guy, as well. But That girl is the arm to make your dreams come true, and who actually has the partnerships with the Detroit Pistons, the Detroit Tigers, and all of these different things. We do the Biz Boost tour where we're flooding out boutiques and restaurants and buying out, as much as we can. We have a tribe, the That Girl Tribe, and we support and we celebrate each other. We compete over, we collaborate over compete, and that is one of the most amazing things that been able to do. And we're from here through the UK. A lot of partnerships. The female CEO, where I am their US representative, and I love there so much because they, take me, to other countries, and then the shirts are being worn all over the world. I blew me away when someone ordered one from Singapore. I'm like, Singapore, and I'm like, what,
Okay, wait. I gotta stop you there because I got daughters, I got friends, women. Where do we get these shirts?
So you get the shirts at im-thatgirl.com. And it's shirts, it's merchandise, it is business services, community services. It is we drop out. We have an amazing blog where we're featuring women all over the world. So you'll get to our website and literally lose yourself. So that's im-thatgirl.com.
Yeah, I had to. I'm sorry, I wasn't looking away, but I had to put that in my notes. So
Okay.
yeah,
No problem.
I really got to cop a couple of those shirts.
Come through with it, okay? We definitely love it. The city definitely has had its fun with it. It became the travel shirt for a moment. And we partner with at the end of 2019, we dropped at Macy's for a short period of time before COVID took us out, of course. We partner with Mac Cosmetics. We just done some really sick things in the amount of time. So that is now my new baby, and it is 6 years old. And so yeah, so it's hanging right in there. And so I use my brand, Make Your Dreams Come True, my BPO firm, to power that girl. So all of the business services that I need to create or use through our company to help, those members of that girl, it works that way. So it's pretty cool how I, created the business model. And it's just been an experience like none other.
Yo, I cannot possibly thank you enough for this. I really can't. If people want to get in contact with you, how do they do that?
Um, so the websites are iam-thatgirl.com. Make your dreams come true. It's www.mydct.net. And I am on Instagram at not I am, I'm Natasha. You'll be able to find me. And
Say
then,
that again because for some reason it froze a little bit. So I want to make
okay,
sure
it's going
people
to
get
be
that.
I am that girl, just Natasha. So it's I'm that girl, Natasha, on Instagram, and the other links are in the bio. And I'm on Facebook and LinkedIn. So you guys, and YouTube. So you guys can pretty much find me everywhere, and TikTok. Like, I'm everywhere I need to be except Twitter.
Twitter don't even count no more, man. Fuck him.
Nope.
I'm sorry. Sorry. It just slipped out. I mean, I'm
Yeah, I
still
don't know
on.
what be going down over Twitter. I said Twitter be having too much going on for me. But my favorite platform is Facebook. That's the one that I communicate the most on. That's the one that I love talking on. That's the way I give giveaway. Like, I just posted up. We have um 50 Lions tickets, but you got to take the youth. So we got 50 Lions tickets. You got to take the youth. I am also the president of the Black United Fund of Michigan's Millennial Council, and come out with us at Mixed Bricks on August the 23rd. Oh, August the 27th, we're going to be at the Tigers Stadium. August the 25th, we're going to be at DSLA for a backpack giveaway. We got it popping. And then our organization, That Girl, was selected by the Biden and Harris administration to give away the President's Awards for this year. So I've been working toward that. It's going to happen in October. So you guys got to stay tuned for that to see who's getting these President's Award, where y'all can come to be a part of it. Like, it's lit, okay? Y'all
Yo,
gotta follow.
the Lions tickets. How? I got kids I can take. How on earth do I get those?
Okay, cool. So you gonna take the kids? Then
Oh,
how many kids
absolutely.
you got?
I got three granddaughters that's in Detroit, and I got a
Okay.
grandson.
So how many? Okay, so just hit me up in the DM. I got you guys.
All right, bet. Yo,
Okay.
yo, that right there. Yo, and we this close to 100,000 on Facebook. So I got a little reach out there, especially on the book. Let me know what I need to do to help you out, and I got you.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. So those, and then so I got to shout out the Black United Fund of Michigan because they are the ones who are giving away. I want to be clear who's giving away the tickets, so they can get their recognition. But a 54-year-old organization. I am their director of special projects as well as the president of Millennial Council, guys. And if you guys have kids, I cannot say this enough to tap in. Okay, like the possibilities are endless. The programs are free. I mean, I just can't tell you enough. So it's www.buffmichigan.org, and you guys need to check that out as well. Just nothing but goodness this way, y'all. I got all things good over here.
Yeah. So
Buff,
www.michigan.org.
nope, www.buffmichigan.org. So it's BUFMI.org.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because let me put my daughters up on this one right here.
Oh, they will love it. And if anyone is listening who have high school students, we have 10 vacancies for IKEA retail business camp that's happening starting Monday, the 19th, where the students are learning how to create their own businesses in partnership with IKEA, and the facilitator and curator of the program, Carlotta Tutt. The program is a Buff of Michigan program. And when I say it's outstanding, it's outstanding. It is free for them. It's the entire week long. They don't need anything. All they need to do is show up. So they can
Yo,
register online, buffmichigan.org, find that program, register, and we'll see you guys on that Monday. So anybody who has ninth to 12th grade students, this is for them.
and like I said, please don't hesitate to let me know going forward. I don't care what y'all got going on. I will post anything. If it was a blank ass piece of paper that says Buff on it, I'll post that. So just let me know because it just I love just dope stuff,
I
especially
appreciate
when it
that.
helps us.
Hmm. Oh yeah, definitely. And we have to promote. It's so the internet is promoting the most insane things right now. So if you're using your platform for good and you're promoting dope stuff, then big ups to you.
I try, I promote dumb stuff too. Don't get me wrong. I'm gonna sit here and lie like I was just some angel. I'm stupid too sometimes, but I understand the importance of what's gonna happen when I'm no longer here,
Hmm.
and
What's
so
the
I
what's
wanna,
the blueprint? What's
yeah,
the footmarks? Where
yeah,
are the footmarks at?
yeah,
What were you doing while you were here? You definitely got to think about your legacy, right?
yes, absolutely. These footprints gonna be huge.
Hmm.
Your whole team can walk in them when I'm gone, but I got you.
Hey
Uh,
man, and congratulations on your 100,000 followers. That's lit.
well, we at like 97, 98 right now, so we close.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, that's close enough to celebrate.
Yeah, well, I'll celebrate when we got a million. We'll have a million by next year, definitely. The 100,000 is going to be I think that's the toughest to break. After that, because I've gotten like 70,000 in the last 3 months.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
crazy,
yeah,
amazing.
it's been up for like this summer. It's been crazy. I've been doing this for so long, so they say it's a moment or brief. This is like kind of like this our wave. So you
Taking it.
know, oh, absolutely, and we ready for it too.
Yeah, you got to be ready to take your turn. You have to
Oh,
be ready to take your turn.
yeah, I'm
Yep.
built for this. We ready.
Hmm.
Anyway, on that note, I can't. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Anytime you ever want to come back, you got anything, anybody you want coming on, let me know. Let Rita know, and we'll make it happen.
I will do so. Thank you so much for having me. I enjoyed our conversation today, and I look forward to seeing you guys out in the community.
Oh, no doubt, man. And don't forget, I'll inbox you my math. And you can hit me up whatever you need.
Okay, no problem. Have a great day.
All right, you
Bye,
too. All right,
everyone.
peace. Definitely do apologize that we were not able to get KDZ on at 5 o'clock. We had technical issues for whatever reason. Like his sound just was not working optimally. But we definitely gonna reschedule that. But man, Natasha Lee, and why is my shit like this? I did not even realize that. But Natasha Lee, what? Just a superhero. Like what a phenomenal, phenomenal, phenomenal individual. It was truly an honor just to holler at her for a little bit. Next week we got Sexy Cat coming on and Rico Love. Should be two phenomenal shows. And you never know, we may sprinkle something in between. On that note, I am Jobs. I definitely appreciate y'all for tuning in. And please don't hesitate to like, subscribe, and share. And I'll throw some clips up this weekend. Actually, I don't think I did any clips from last. Well, I did Lamont and I did Haliva, and I'm missing somebody from last week. But we will get that together. Jesus Christ, I'm sorry, Queen. I can't. It escapes me at the moment. Matter of fact, not because I don't want to do that. That we ain't about to do that. And I know last week we didn't have any power, so we couldn't do April. So I do apologize, but we are rescheduling the interviews from last week. On that note, though, and I just cannot see the flyer that I'm looking for. Oh. We got to drop some clips from Gail Salvo, who was dope. Anyway, on that note, I'm out of here. I'll see y'all next week. Y'all have a good one. Peace.